Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Forgot what to say. Welcome back to the channel. Sometimes you do this, you do the intro so many times, sometimes, and you just start to lose it after a while. Anyways, we're returning back to the Teardrop Explodes. We're returning to their album Kilimanjaro, released 1980, with the track Poppies in the Field. This is one that you guys had recommended after listening to the last track from them. So many of you had recommended it and recommended this track along with a lot of others, some from this album, some from other albums, as the story often goes. But some of you guys that had recommended this one was Robert Shad, Sujata Bose, Ian Weller. I see Kevin Mottram chiming in as well. Edward Thorne, Zlurb again to music. So there's a few of you here. So I'm happy to go ahead and listen to more from the band. I enjoyed what we heard last, and it's time to move off of trees and get into that field. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. We'll talk about it after. Let's go. A little backwards guitar. I like that.
The parachute's in my bag. I'm throwing it over to you. The parachute's in your hands, but don't ask me what to do.
I really like that effect of the backwards guitar being played. This has some great movement to it, as well as feeling.
I see a change in you. Can you see a change in me? But I can't explain at all. I can't explain what I feel.
Love the keys and organ that come in. we have a few things to talk about. Well, there's a little bit to dive into with this one. Where do we start? Where do we begin? So first of all, obviously it's a great track. Love everything about it. Singing, wonderful. I like this kind of smooth psychedelic experience that we're being thrown into. The backwards guitar, the rise of the organ, that pulsating bass. We're going to talk about that. The drumming, just very hypnotic, lulls you in. The explosive chorus, I wait around that, and then the verse. Everything comes together really well. It's a wonderful track. Now that we got the obvious out the way, let's toss it over there and dive a little deeper into this, okay? Allow me to like talk to you guys. Allow me to think out loud, for lack of a better word. Let me get into the lyrics. We're going to talk about the music, but I want to talk about it in relation to the lyrics. The parachute's in my bag. I'm throwing it over to you. The parachute's in your hands, but don't ask me what to do. Okay, so the idea, the visual, the mental. He has a parachute. He has a bag with a parachute. Of course, needed to save your life in case of emergency. He throws it over to the other person, but then he says, now it's in your hands. I don't know what to do. So it's in their hands, out of his hands. Easy. That's whatever. The poppies are in the field, but don't ask me what that means. Okay. So he has a little bit of a, he doesn't want to take responsibility. He wants someone else to have their responsibility for themselves. Think for themselves, perhaps. Don't ask him what to do. Don't ask him what things mean. Figure it out on your own. Something like that. Hold on, we're going to dive deeper. Then, I wait around. I wait around. He sits there, allows time. I see a change in you. It's not necessarily in a mean way. It's like throwing a baby into a pool. No. Listen to me, okay? Here in Florida, kids learn to swim quick and early, okay? And you take swim classes. That's like one of the big things. I remember I took a swim class when I was probably, 4 or something. I don't even know how old I was. And, they gave you things to floaties, but they threw me into the pool and I hated it. Oh my God, I hated it. I remember the screams. I remember the smell of the place. It was so wet there. Anyways, but in a way, he's doing a similar thing here. He gives this other person the tools they need and says, figure it out. Then he waits. Then he notices, he says, I see a change in you. Can you see a change in me? But I can't explain at all. I can't explain what I feel. So perhaps he also has a problem vocalizing what he feels in that way. Okay, now think about the music at that particular point. At that moment when he says, I wait around, and as that particular verse is mentioned or chorus is mentioned throughout the track, the bass changes. Okay? The bass goes into like a 2-note step. I don't know if those are the exact notes, but it does that, okay? As if it's held, as if there's tension. When you do something and then you wait, like he just said, there's that tension. Is something going to happen? Are they going to change? Is there going to be any sort of change? That's also the moment that the organ just crashes through. That is the change. There's that tension broken. And then there's that moment of uncertainty, which is not particularly in this moment, but in the verses themselves, talking about the poppies and the parachute at those moments when you have that backwards guitar, which once again adds to that very smooth psychedelic experience, but also has a way of kind of pushing itself into the message of the lyrics as well. The uneasiness of change. That's just what I'm thinking. That's just me. That's just me. Comics insult, you said, but comics are all I read. Comics insult, you said, but comics are all I read. Let me think about that one. Comics insult you. Like perhaps the other person saying comics are beneath him. You shouldn't be reading comics. You should be reading, the dictionary or something. You should be reading, Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Or you should be reading one of those. But comics are all I read. So now the other person wants him to change. But he doesn't want to change. Now, how does this relate to poppies in the field? To be 100% honest, I'm not really entirely sure. The only thing I can think of is seasons change, flowers grow, plants bloom. They change, but perhaps he doesn't, perhaps the other person doesn't. I don't know. I think the theme here is change, but I'm probably fumbling a few of the balls in this one. Anyways, wonderful track though. Let me know what you guys thought of it. You can let me know that in the comments down below. I think I pulled out and that was good stuff in that one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel and what I do on Patreon if you so wish. But otherwise, please like the video before you go. Like, I'm giving you a second to do it. You really didn't do it yet? Like, come on. Anyways, I'm sure you'll get to it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.